there's wind, and there's a loud stream. But I think it'll be an okay recording. Oh gosh, what do I want to say? Okay, so I'm by this loud stream. I think it should be fine for the recording because I'm talking right there. There's a cow with big horns staring right at me. I can't tell. I think it's female, but I guess females get horns sometimes. She's across the stream. Okay. Last night I slept for 11 hours, which was great because I had the worst sleep deprivation. I had the worst sleep deprivation known I've ever had for a long time. That lasted a week. It's weird because I had the flu, and you would think that when you have the flu, I was kind of bedridden for at least 2 days, like I could barely move. And yeah, it turned out that, I don't know what it turned out, but it turned out that I couldn't sleep when I'm really sick either, so. Trying to think, this cow is listening to me while I make my recording. Okay, yeah, so it's my first day in a South American country, and getting here was quite exhausting. Now I'm here. Life is good. I'm taking pauses because I'm not sure if this little stream here, it's like a mini tourist attraction, but I don't know, you have to pay to get in. I just kind of walked in. So, and I was just chased by 2 dogs. I had to yell at them really loud and threaten to throw rocks at them to get them to back off. It worked. It was my first battle of South America. I've been to Mexico before, and yeah, I'm in Colombia right now. And I've dealt with dogs. They're pretty wily down here. Okay, I think it's interesting to note that I guess that's what I'll talk about. My AGP fantasies are kind of coming back. I'm still in semen retention, and yeah, they're just coming back. And that might be because, I just noticed it in a couple nights last week when I was bedridden and back at my parents'. So, interesting thing to notice. Basically, sitting idle, being back at my parents', and being sick, with very little energy for anything, and also not being able to fall asleep. That was pretty kind of frustrating. I just noticed myself go into all sorts of fantasies. I was mainly stressing about this trip, but I had a very vivid fantasy a couple nights ago, back at my parents'. The fantasy was me sort of starting to work a 9-to-5 again, somewhere where not many people knew me, and the fantasy kind of went in the realm of, I kind of present as I am now, but I dress a little more flamboyantly, and slowly I start to take small doses of HRT, I guess microdosing, and then I might take, basically I slowly transition at the workplace. I don't do it at the workplace, but I guess the setting was the workplace a lot, because that's in my mind. I've been there for a number of years in my mind in that setting, so it's kind of engraved. So I guess that's why it was that setting, and I guess that setting has a thing of routine and stability, and I think if anyone is going to transition, it needs to happen in a stable place. So it starts with, I start taking some HRT slowly, and then maybe a month or 2 into that, I do a very subtle surgery on my nose to make it slightly more feminine, and then I would look into facial feminization surgery, because I don't want to feminize my face too much, again, because I'm bald, and I'm kind of heavily reliant on my, I'm already, I ain't getting laid, so it doesn't fucking matter, I guess, but I don't want to become, uglier by my own actions, basically. So, I'm just thinking about how I could do some surgeries where it doesn't impact my facial structure, how I like present masculinely, but it assists in presenting femininely. So I think if I did a bit of a nose rhinoplasty, because I have a pretty ugly nose for both genders, so if I neutralized it a bit, it could help with cross-dressing a little bit. And then I'd probably keep my goatee and stuff, but then I might. Oh yeah, so in my fantasy, I slowly start to grow breasts to the point where I might go and do a top surgery, but still be boy mode for like a while, and then I might invest in wearing some really nice wigs. Like I've been seeing these ads for people who are bald, where they grow their normal natural hair around their bald area, and then have these like kind of bald caps that go on top, and they look quite convincing and natural. So then maybe I start doing that. Of course, I'll get remarks at work and I'll just say blah blah blah, and then eventually maybe one day I just kind of shave my thing and just come and dressed as a woman and say nothing. And if people ask me gender pronouns, I just tell any, because I still identify as male. I just want to present this way. And then in my mind, like in my AGP fantasies, that I basically present feminine but still maintain my masculine voice, and don't really change my mannerisms more than if they have been affected by estrogen anymore in any particular way. I just start to perhaps dress a little more feminine, which at this point, at the beginning of my fantasy, I was already kind of dressing semi-flamboyantly, but yeah. So that was my fantasy, and it gave me boners when I thought about it. I was imagining that as I was going to sleep. I think that only happened like 2 nights, but it's just something I noticed, that it was a fantasy. I was imagining myself transitioning at workplace, and there was nothing sexual involved. It was just, I think what aroused me was just the thought of going through all of it, and and then I don't know how to say it. And then, like, I guess being accepted, like people just being like, oh, cool, whatever, that's interesting and weird, but whatever, we're here to do work. And then so I guess my AGP fantasy was just me doing that, and then looking more and more like a woman, but nothing more. Oh, there's 2 baby calves with their mama, I guess, and they're very cute. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe if the fantasy comes back, I can kind of, now that I'm in a slightly more rested, better headspace and not sick. Hopefully I don't get sick while I'm down here, but I could pay attention to these fantasies and how they emerge. Yeah. I guess how they emerge, and yeah. So I made I made a video talking about how, I guess this was already a handful of weeks ago, that my AGP fantasy was gone, but my I was still having sexual fantasies, but they were geared towards this external woman, this woman that I used to date, and so I had no AGP fantasies. All my sexual every time I had sexual energy and fantasization, it was with this woman. But now there's no woman in my life, and so the fantasy goes to doing this. Yeah. Anyway, that's it. I think that's the end of that trail of thought. So I don't know how many days am I in. I think I'm 50 days into semen retention. Oh, 51 days. Yeah, so let's just say 50 days. And this happened a handful of days ago, so it's probably day 48 or something-ish, day 47 or something, that I have these strong sexual fantasies. And since I've been on the road, I've been traveling, I'm curious tonight what kind of things will enter my mind in terms of that. And yeah, I did Google, because there is a female I used to jack off to a lot, and she lives in Colombia, the country I'm in. And I was curious about Bogota, which is the capital. And apparently there's a ton, because I know Brazil has a ton of like really hot trans women. And so I Googled it, and apparently in this town, Bogota, which is where I landed, but I'm not there anymore. I'm pretty far away, actually. what did I want to say? There's quite a bit of a trans scene, like tranny or she-male escorts, whatever. So I'm just trying to think. I had the thought maybe I could find a hostel near the area there. I just feel like I'm like such a mega gringo. I can't speak Spanish or anything. And I've never like the thought of going with an escort is really, I don't know, something irks me about it. I'd rather, but I don't know how else to make contact with really attractive trans people. I've tried dating apps and stuff, but yeah, the ones that because again I'm very superficial. The ones that are really hot and I want to hook up with, well, they've spent the time and the money to look the way they do. So naturally, unless I'm offering them something of value, and I'm kind of a traveling homeless hobo, so I don't got much there. But I just thought, like, if I go there and anyway, the thought just came into my mind now. And I don't know, I'm a super hypochondriac, so I'm kind of afraid of STIs. So I probably if I went and got an escort, and the thing with me getting an escort is like, yes, I am attracted to trans women quite a bit, and I jack off to that kind of stuff a lot. But I don't know, if I got something like that, I don't know. It doesn't stimulate my sexual fantasy. My sexual fantasy as an AGP person is to become those people. So I wouldn't even want to seek out an escort for like, I just want to kind of be in their presence. So maybe it's worth it. And yeah, I don't think I want to have sex because, I mean, of course I do. Actually, that's true. I do. But the thing is, with an escort, I don't really because of the STIs. So I don't know. It's weird. It's like, would I just kind of pay just to spend time with them? Could be weird. They could be into it. They probably get a lot of stuff like that. Anyway, yeah, my libido to like have sex per se is kind of, I mean, I've just been through so much in the last week. Like the flu just kind of kicked my ass, then insomnia fucked me up, and then today's the first day I feel not like a pile of shit. And and it's also the first day that I'm in a new country and can't speak the language and figuring out my living situation, which is a little bit weird. I'm doing a work exchange type thing, but there's some things lacking a lot of clarity, and there's only one person here right now who's house sitting the place, and the hostess, she's gone. And I thought there'd be more of a community vibe because I really do seek out community settings quite a bit. So that's non-existent. So I just have a lot of time and space to myself, which could be a good thing, but I know that I don't thrive in that. Like I thrive in highly social settings with the space I can retreat and have alone time. But when alone time is just 24/7, it makes me go a little bit nutty. But maybe I'll just do more of these type of recordings in this type of setting. Who knows? I don't know.